We might even be probably live now, guys, to be fair.
Awesome. So we are
Fabulous.
live and then it gets put up after.
Oh,
Yeah, there you go.
my gosh.
Yep.
Straight under the bus.
Straight under it, Lauren, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Ladies and gents, welcome to Naked Passion Podcast. We've got a fantastic episode for you this evening. Thanks for joining us. We have, hailing from Melbourne, one of the fastest growing duos in the world right now, I reckon. You got the sister duo Lash78, Lauren and Sheridan Harvey. Obviously a female-fronted pop rock band. Huge influence all over TikTok at the moment, and a lot of background in the music industry through their family, which we'll unpack very, very soon. International age, it's all sort of happening. But welcome to the show, Lauren. Welcome, Sheridan. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having us. We're so excited to be here.
I'm so excited. So look, let's jump straight into it. What is the most exciting thing happening in your world right now?
Well, we've just gone viral on TikTok.
That is
which was very unexpected.
Yep.
We have some exciting things coming out this year, and we were just talking amongst our team, and we're like, we need to start pushing, like, you know, that we're going to come out with some stuff, but you're putting it out to no one. And we're like, yep. So the plan was initially, let's post 2 to 3 TikToks a day, you know, reels as well, see how it goes. We had kind of an expectation that maybe we'd end up with, say, 1,000 followers within the 2 months. We actually had one of our videos blow up, and
we're about to hit 12.5 today.
Yeah.
We're pretty on par. By the end of the day, we'll have about 12.5 followers, 12,500 followers.
Then we're going to have 12.5 followers.
12.5, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably on Instagram.
Exactly. So that's wild. So it all happened pretty quickly, unexpected, as you said. So how did that come about? Like, did your phone just start blowing up? Like, what happened?
Well, I think the thing is we initially posted a cover of Who Knew by Pink, and it was just in the car. There was nothing special done to the audio. It was literally one of those things where Lauren and I hadn't filmed content for a few days, and I was out of content. I had 2 pieces to put up for the day. I found 1 piece from the day before, and then I was like, I'm gonna have to go back through and check. This video got like 12,500 views, and I was like, oh my God, like something about this feels special.
Yeah.
So I said, Lauren, straight away, let's just record all the rest of them with like no audio special things. So like what we were doing initially was we'd have our headphones in, and then we'd record with silence. It would just be our vocal in the car. And then I put the music over the top of that. And all those videos did okay. I think people just liked hearing something special. So then from there,
something relatable, I think, to a lot of people, get like with their friends or sibling or family member, get in the car and they just scream. They just scream their favorite song. And then, for us, we wanted to do songs that also represented who we are.
We're massive Katy Perry fans.
Exactly. We're massive Katy cats.
Yeah, we literally just said like, let's just do Wide Awake. And then we uploaded it. And I hope that it beats like 12,000 something views, and
then it hit 20 and then it hit 100,000, and it was happening at a really, I would say, in the middle of a fast and a slow pace. It was really bizarre.
I think it was about over 3 days it hit a million.
Yeah, it was a very consistent pace with the views, and we saw the likes go up consistently as well. Follows, comments.
I think most days we were opening up our phone to like, you know, like hundreds of thousands of notifications, which, like I said, it was something that we had manifested. We spoke about it earlier. I feel like we were like manifesting like 1,000 followers. Definitely wasn't to the amount.
No, we were grateful for every single follower. We were with our grandmother about 3 weeks ago, high-fiving over hitting 700 followers.
Yeah.
Yep.
Crazy.
So we have, I think too, with this process, is we've been grateful for every little detail that's come through, whether it be big or small.
And like we said, like we were celebrating at 1 million, which, I mean, I would celebrate again and again at over 1 million, but it's now at 3.5 million, and it has not slowed down. I'm not going to lie.
It's unbelievable.
Isn't that incredible? I want to come back to the idea of manifesting and what that sort of look like, and then potentially the idea of gratitude as well. But before we do, I want to jump into the 2 truths and a lie, because I have a feeling that may come out sort of in the conversation. So
straight for it.
100%, we'll jump straight in. So 2 truths and a lie. Sharon, I think you shot this through a little bit earlier. So thank you for not sending the answers as well. So I'll have a crack here.
I'm sure some people would do that.
Oh, they have done it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So 2 truths and a lie. Number 1, or option 1, our bass player blew out his knee in front of a 350-person crowd and kept playing mid-screaming as paramedics held his knee in place. Wow. Kept playing. Okay. Number 2.
It's a bit elaborate, isn't it?
Yeah, I like it. Katy Perry herself endorsed our TikTok that went viral. And number 3, we drove 26 hours to a gig and broke down 2 hours away in the middle of the night with no reception. That's rough. I'm going to eliminate number 3. I reckon that did happen. Life on the road. I'm going to hope number 2 happened, but I'm going to say that number 2 is the lie.
You'd be correct.
Well done.
Well done.
Ooh.
We wish it wasn't.
But then see, we're manifesting.
Exactly. So
although I think Katy Perry and I were destined to have like
some type of connection. When I was when she was here on tour, she did a event for Sunrise and I went. I was meant to be Sheridan's ticket, not mine. So sad.
And she couldn't go and I went for her, and she sang and she jumped off stage and she jumped straight to me because we were vibing the whole time, and I was so excited to be there. And we went to kiss each other on the cheek and we accidentally pecked.
So what was your first kiss, Lauren? Who was your first kiss?
So my first kiss on the lips was Katy Perry.
Oh
so
my.
The fact that this video has done well, it's like I have to meet her now. I think like we have to have a chat because it's so funny. It was one of the I remember we looked at each other and went, oh, and she was like, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, it's totally fine. Like that was amazing. And it's the best story. And now we have this story with Wide Awake as well. So it's just very funny how the world works.
It's just a matter of time. The universe just lining it up. So talk to me about your legend bass player. What happened there?
Oh my poor
goodness.
Angus.
This was
so we had our EP launch and it was our first ever massive gig. So we just released our first ever EP, which sadly for people who are listening online thinking, I'm going to go stream it. We actually just took it down. That was just a choice because we have some really cool stuff coming out this year.
remember Angus vividly saying to us, I go crazy when I'm on stage. And we were like, excellent. So but just be careful. We were like, we said like, it's a very small stage at this venue. It's a big venue, but it's a very small stage in the corner of a room. And for us, we were just playing along and then all of a sudden we can't hear bass. It's all gone. And
it was in a song that really needed bass.
We were like,
too.
oh my God, what? We've turned around and we hear blood curdling screams.
Basically what had happened was he jumped off his bass rig and landed, I think his kneecap went into his knee. It's so terrible.
I actually found out from this incident that he has a genetic knee condition where it can just pop out at any time, and that was the first time that it happened.
So we actually had a paramedic in the crowd who was a family friend, and he basically went up there and he refused to get off the stage, so he played until the end.
The rest of the song.
People said it was the most rock and roll thing that they'd ever seen, but Lauren and I were like, holy
triggered.
crap.
I can't even I can still
we have
I can still hear the screams.
Shout out to Angus.
It was so rock and roll. It was awesome, but it was awful for him. Like everyone who watched it said it just completely.
He literally was screaming and playing, and we were just like, "Oh my God, dude, you can stop, But
he was like, "No, I've got to finish this."
Dude should be famous already.
Yeah, 100%. Well done, Angus. Sorry about your knee, mate. And then what about life on the road? 26 hours to a gig, 2 hours away, middle of the night, no reception. I don't think it gets much worse than that, does it?
No, it was pretty terrifying. We were on our way to the Ely Beach Festival of Music where we were playing on the main stage back in November of 2022. Got to get that right now because it's been so
basically
long.
We were driving in the car and it had worked out that we were supposed to wait until the next day to drive. We'd driven to the Gold Coast, waited, and then found out we could go. So we ended up only having like a 5-hour stopover when it was supposed to be say 24 hours. And we're like, no, don't worry about it. We got another like 9 hours, or maybe it was 12 hours.
Yeah, we stopped at a fuel station, had a little snack, and the sun had just started to go down because it was during summer.
And then all of a sudden we're driving down the road and you just see like this smoke. And I said to the bass player that we had, our friend Josh, I said, dude, are you vaping in the car right now? And he's like, no.
And Josh has a personality where
he'd be cheeky.
Talk crap.
Yeah.
And we were like, you're lying. And he goes, no, I swear to God, this is not me. And then we all go, oh shit, we need to pull over. And we pulled over in like every worst truck spot. Driver that has like that we Horror saw and stories. Spoke to said that was like the most scariest spot.
And the funny thing is our dad was driving and he put the hazard lights on, and then all of us thought that the car was on fire because there's this orange and then like all the smoke. So then I'm trying to get out of the back seat and my water bottle has gone under the part where like the foot thing is to open up the car seat.
So I'm stuck in the back.
Yeah.
They all could have left me there. The car had blown up. Gone. But it was totally the most ridiculous thing to happen. We were like, oh, if it's going to happen to anybody, it'll happen to us. Like we've come all the way from Geelong, Victoria, and trying to get to Airlie Beach in the matter of 3 days.
But it was okay because Josh had packed 4 cans that were warm of the brand new 196. So we all had a great 196 and we were like, this is the life. This is the life of a musician.
Shout out to the RACV though for putting us up for the night and getting the car back home to Victoria.
Actually, that's the life lesson that we can talk about later. If you're going to travel long distances, get RACV roadside assistance. $200 a year, people. It's worth it.
Amen. Well, I mean, good news. There's 15 minutes of those 2 scenes in your movie biopic when it comes out in another 15 years. So
unreal.
There you go. Silver linings. Let's go back to the idea of manifesting. Talk to me about, I guess, let's just unpack that. What did you do in line with that? Is that something that you regularly do? Was it just a bit of a random? What does that mean for you?
We've always loved the idea of it and the concept. I think it's become more serious in the last few years. We'd always kind of, even the back wall, it's all of our biggest inspirations. It's blurred. Thank you very much, Zoom. We basically had started using Canva to put together vision boards, and they're our screensavers of our mobile phones.
So every time we open our phone, it's there. We see it.
Yeah.
And the idea of having that there is because you look at your phone every single day, multiple times a day. When you look at your phone,
I'm happy to show mine.
Yeah, it's your little reminder.
You can see like there's all the TikTok stuff. I got Triple J on there. It's terrible. Yeah, can't really see
it's your reminder that when you go to do something, if you see that, you have to ask yourself, am I doing something that will help me get to those goals?
I think there's also the subconscious element too, where it's just kind of like there and you don't necessarily have to acknowledge it every day.
Keeps that fire as well, just in the pit
and then when things happen, you can look at it and go, oh wait. And that's the thing, like I've got TikTok notifications on mine. Like that's so I feel like, I mean, obviously some people might be like, oh, get over yourself. Like it's a coincidence. But for me, like that, we'd been trying for so long to have something go viral or have something at least get like a decent amount of likes. I mean, people might think that we're super vain by saying, oh, TikTok and likes and blah, blah, blah. Realistically, for music industry people at the moment, if you don't have a certain amount of followers,
you don't matter.
You're not even going to be looked at. I know that there's been conversations with some of the big heads of A&Rs in America of artists who they literally turn around to and say, you have one of the best voices I have ever heard.
But I can't do anything with you.
I can't do anything right now with you until you go and get yourself a following. And that is gut-wrenching. And for us, God, we've been doing this for so long, like that we are not letting anything get in the way of like 100%. Us finding success.
And to whatever capacity you either believe or don't believe in manifestation or that word in particular, I think for anybody, if you have constant reminders every day of where you want to be, little things like that can help you get to where you
believe
want to
in
be.
Something.
Yeah.
If that's not manifesting.
And I think too, with you mentioning gratitude, I myself have been working on gratitude really hardcore over the last, I think I'm up to day 112. I have a gratitude book that I bought from Kmart. And it's
Shout
3 things that you're grateful for.
There's been so many product placements.
I know. Where's my endorsement? Went from beep. So I've been working on that every single day. I haven't missed a day for 112 days. And I think there have been a lot of, cruddy days in that time frame. But when I look back, I see everything that's positive because I try to make sure, even if in a negative situation, if I've had a bad day, there has to be somewhat positive that's gone on. And I think I've really struggled with negativity over the course of especially my teen years. And this gratitude journaling for me has been such a difference in my attitude towards my day, towards people, and towards where I'm going.
Oh man, that's so real. Like I'm really enjoying I guess, how the science is matching up to these other ideas that have been in and around that space.
Yep.
I think for me, I'm just sort of scratching the surface. Some of it is not for me, but other things, especially when the science backs it up, it's absolutely huge. And you bang on, like gratitude is such a fuel where people can use it for life. You start noticing the positives instead of noticing the negatives, and whatever you look for, you'll find. So it's huge.
For instance, like I was reading, like they were talking, I don't know if it was a study or what, I'd seen it somewhere, and it was basically about skiers in snow, and it was that like the amount of people that focused on not hitting trees would always hit a tree. But if they said instead, follow the snow, you're always going to follow the snow. And I think that that's my thing before I touched on, it just gives you something to believe in. And if you're looking at that and you're thinking, this is where I'm going, where else can you head? You can't hit that tree, you're only going to follow the snow.
So and I think too, from me with the journaling part of it, I always struggle to, I guess, write down how I'm feeling. I'm one to kind of backtrack on my emotions and putting them out, and to have that daily gratitude, it makes me think, oh, well, at the end of the day, I actually have no choice but to focus on 3 things that made me happy and 3 things that I'm grateful for. So the rest of the bullshit, let's be real, the rest of the bullshit goes out the window, and you're not going to remember it at day 365 when you finish that journal and you go back through it and you see the amazing things like overseas travel. You see the amazing things like you've lost someone and it's been an awful time, but you have a community around you who are protecting you and who love you. And that's what I'm going to look back on.
And imagine if you did write the negative things in there.
Oh my God.
You would just look back on all those days and be like, well, that was kind of crap, hey? Like, so much better.
How do you go? It's funny you bring up emotions. Emotions have always been a struggle for me growing up, specifically naming the emotions, I think from like a second and third level. How have you gone with that now, Lauren? Was that sort of a struggle with yourself as well, or not to that point?
Yeah, I've been very detached from my emotions for a long time. I've had a few things. Obviously, everyone has their own little trauma going through life. We're not human if we don't have somewhat. To what capacity, that's your own story. And I think for me, I am still not like, I'm not entirely open when it comes to myself. I'm great at giving advice and, telling people how they can become better with, how they be one with themselves. But it's only took, I guess, really the gratitude journaling for me, and to really look back and be like, okay, this is where I need to do better. I need to be more positive. I need to let myself be that little bit more emotionally, I guess, not necessarily available, but emotionally present within myself. So
your journey's definitely been over the past probably 5 years.
Oh yeah, the me 5 years ago to the me now.
Obviously, for us, we're 25 and 26. Lauren's still coming out into that age of being like, finishing school. The friendships that you have during school that might not extend out to after school. The music situation, it's great, but it hasn't always given us the love that we maybe required it to.
No.
It's been awesome to watch you kind of blossom over the past.
Yeah, I think I'm becoming better with those things. I mean, we always have something we can work on. But I think where I am now, I've never been in a better place with how I feel about myself and who I am.
That's awesome. So 25 and 26, you just brought up there, Sheridan. So
thanks for that.
How close are you guys?
Yeah, so I mean, if anyone's just starting to view in or doesn't know, we're sisters. So I think a lot of siblings have that natural you're always going to be like a little bit close, even if it's just a bond over childhood trauma. But honest to God, we are so close. It's disgusting. We do everything together.
Her
we work
partner
together.
is not happy. No.
Not happy. Go get wrecked. No, we were talking about potentially going on a holiday recently, and I was like, yeah, and Lauren's got to come because we have to create content. And he's like, are you joking, Sheridan? And I was like, don't act like you didn't know that it was like both of us when you signed up. And we've been together for ages too.
I think because we're so close in age, like I can't remember a time where Shez wasn't around. I was, I think 1.5 when she was born, roughly.
The only thing that we have done separately, if you really look at things, is Lauren was in Billy Elliot the musical in Melbourne when she was 14. And that was for 6 to 12 months. And I was doing busking at that time. And ever since, everything is together. We hold the same friends. We like it's just everything. Every
event that we're invited to, the others there.
I couldn't imagine not being invited to something.
No, I think there was something the other day that she went to, and her partner was invited and she was invited. And when they got to the party, they were like, oh, Lauren's just out. But she might swing by if that's okay. And the person goes, oh, I thought Lauren's invite was a given. Like, I thought she was just coming. Just and I was invited. Like, well, for one, that's not how you invite someone somewhere. I'm never going to show up. But we do
understand.
We do understand. Like, of course, I'm not going to show up. But yeah, they were like, no, I thought she was just coming because you guys said you were.
Like, so maybe a little too close sometimes, but, you know, we wouldn't have it any other way because it's
But it's not just us that are that close. We're very close with our other 3 siblings as well.
So we're 2 of 5. And we are all very close.
Awesome. And what's the age range?
Yeah, so Lauren 26, me 25, Nathan's 21, 22, Ryan's 20, turning 21, and then Anastasia is turning 19 on Saturday.
Happy birthday, Anastasia.
2 boys, 3 girls. Yeah.
Awesome. My brother's name's Ryan as well. So there you go. Wild. Look, while we've got the love goggles on, let's I'll throw this one in there, and then I want to find out a bit more about what's happening next for you guys. Lauren, let's start with yourself. What is your favorite thing about Sheridan?
Hard question.
I should have prompted you. No,
I think this is cool. I like it. It's a little bit spontaneous. My favorite thing about Sheridan is that she always picks up for me where I lack. Someone's always been stronger at one thing than the other has. And I think for her and I, she's taken some things really naturally, whereas I haven't. And she's always been I won't say always, that's a lie. She's most of the time been patient. And I'm sure she could say the same about me, but don't copy my answer.
I was about to say.
But yeah, no, like I think for me, we've always been each other's yin and yang. And we won't get into the zodiac side of it because I'm sure people will probably click off. But yeah, we've always picked up where the others lacked, and she's always been there for me through a lot. There's probably times where the emotional thing that we've touched on before where I haven't really let her in. But when I have let her in, she has always been there to help pick up pieces. And again, where I've lacked, she's thrived.
That's a tough act to follow there, Sheridan.
She is very nice.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, same question. Yeah. What is your favorite thing about Lauren?
To be honest, it goes back to what we spoke about a little earlier. God, we're gonna really like have a really sibling moment.
This is really gross. Don't cry. Don't cry.
No, I'm just honestly really proud of the journey that she's had over the past few years. Like at times, like without going into it too far, like Lauren and I's relationship hasn't necessarily been the strongest just due to lots of different things that were happening in both of our worlds. We've always been really close, but you know, like Lauren said, there's been times where it hasn't necessarily been easy to let me in. But yeah, mine would be, I'm just so proud of the journey that she's taken to kind of turn a new leaf of, you know, happiness and that kind of soul searching thing for me is something that I'm always proud of and attracted to in friendships. I like people who strive for better, and that's made it really easy for Lauren and I's relationship to blossom because we have that in common of being like, you know, we're always able to grow. And yeah, I would say that that's been my favorite thing, and my favorite thing that about Lauren would be that.
Where?
Oh my God.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. All right, enough soppy stuff. Although
I was gonna say this is getting scary. This is like Halloween, mate.
Sudsy stuff, please. That's where I draw the line, guys. You want to know about us? That's it.
Basically our PR is going to be in contact. No, I'm joking.
My phone's gone off already. I think they got my number somewhere, but fair enough. All right, so talk to me about your musical influences. We'll keep it quite broad, and you can take that wherever you like. There's obviously a bit to unpack there.
They've definitely changed over the years. From a young age, we were very much influenced by our uncle, who was in a band, who supported the likes of AC/DC, Kiss. God, the list can go on.
So many amazing.
So for that, to have that, you know, our parents were quite close with him. He is our dad's best friend. So
not actually our uncle, but we call him our uncle.
He's practically an uncle. We can't get much closer. So for us growing up, that was pretty amazing. We were taken to concerts very young to watch him play. And then as we've gotten older, we've had, you know, musical interests who've, you know, people like Paramore, 5 Seconds of Summer.
The Band Camino is a big one at the moment.
Even
we love Knox.
For, you know, that hardcore songwriter girl, like people like Alanis Morissette, Gwen Stefani, with no doubt.
I'd say Ryan Tedder's a big one. There's just too many. Like, and I think that's a thing. We've been speaking with a lot of people recently, and they're like, oh, you know, genre. We are definitely rock, pop rock, whatever you want to call it. But our influences are so varied. Like, one of our favorite TV shows ever was Nashville. And that was all about country music. And we started in the country music market too. We grew up on the streets of Tamworth Music Festival singing, and we had our little cowboy hats on, but we were singing the Veronicas. I don't know.
Veronicas are a big one for us too. We absolutely
that was a given. But yeah, there's been a lot. And
I think for now, where our influences lie, it's within our family, our friends, and the people who are supporting us. Right in this present time. The comments that we receive online, that is what influences us to get up every day and create content.
You said inspiration. There are some people on there that want us to sing, like, say, Chandelier by Sia. I commented back today to this guy, I think his name's Josh.
Yes.
And I just said to him, I was like, mate, like, that high note is going to test us. And he's like, I would never recommend anything that is not within your range. Yeah. And I was like, who knows my range?
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. Yeah, for now, our following and the people who get on there every day and comment and suggest a song, and like for us, putting out cover songs was really scary for us because we're obviously not cover artists. And without music up of our own, it's even scarier with that thought. But we cannot believe the amount of people that have asked for our own original music.
Yeah,
that's incredible. That's awesome. Yeah. So let's dive into the original stuff. Before we go into what's coming up next, why don't we have a look at how it all happens? So what is your, I guess, songwriting process? Is it music first? Is it lyrics?
Yeah, I mean, it's always probably different. Stayed fairly consistent over the last, I've been writing since I was like 8 years old. And why Lauren passed this across to me was, this is something that goes back to that thing again where Lauren and I didn't always necessarily connect on some things. I always wanted a songwriting partner. I always saw that Lauren would have the ability to do that. It was something that Lauren fought against for a really long time. And I think it was just because I started so young, and if she started at, you know, like,
I don't like 15, to feel inferior. What do you mean?
Yeah, I think that was the thing. I think you were like, real. Stuff this. Yeah. She's like, I'm not going to let my little sister have control. But yeah, I think it was that kind of thing where, you know, I knew that Lauren was going to be capable of so much. So I wanted her to get on board, and I'm so grateful that she did, because we go back to that yin and yang thing. We balance each other out, where I might come up with a lyric that is a little weak. She's like, I think we can retouch on that. It's way more nasty than that. We're way nastier to each other. We're like,
not that is so shit.
No, not really that bad. But yeah, so basically, I'm a bit of a blabber, I'm sorry. We usually start off with music, and then instantly, most of the time, I'll come up with a melody, and quite more often than not, lyrics will follow.
Yeah.
And then we have our iPhone out. We are recording everything, because I have sometimes the brain of a 2-year-old, I swear to God. So sometimes I'm like
in one ear, out.
In and out. But I think that also makes it kind of magical too, because I'm present, but I'm not really present.
Yeah.
So anything can happen and I don't feel judged. But there has been more recent times where we have actually just been recording. We'll always have the iPhone on. But we're also starting to just kind of lay things down on the recording mic in the back there, just to kind of speed up the process.
Yep.
Oh, one thing I want to add to is sometimes when it comes to talking points, obviously you can write a song about love, but what makes it different is the lyrical content and, of course, the melody. So there are times where, personally for me, I've only ever had one boyfriend and it's my current boyfriend. He treats me really well. He doesn't treat me bad, which I think as a songwriter can sometimes be a bit of a curse.
It's a bit boring.
I'd love him to stick around. But for Lauren, she's only really had, the few breakups, but they haven't really been important. No, they haven't really been important. So we take a lot of inspiration from our friends and our families who have breakups.
And for us too, we're performing for as long as we have and playing our original music live, we've had a lot of people actually ask us to write songs about their lives and what they're going through as well.
But anytime that we lack lyrical content, I'm on Reddit and I am like, and I'll search things in. And honestly, now that TikTok is kind of where it's at and Reels, I'll just search things and it will more than likely pop up.
When you prefer, do you guys play piano as well or mainly guitar?
So Lauren plays piano, bass, guitar. We obviously both sing. I play guitar. I can play a little bit of piano. Like I could write something on the piano. But yeah, I mean, we do everything. Sometimes we find there's the what do you call them? Splice samples and we just kind of we play around with it, don't we?
Yeah, I think as we've become more set in what we're doing, we're able to experiment that a little bit more and try things that aren't really the norm for us. And I think with the music that we're about to come out with, I think a lot of people will know it's working. Whatever we're doing, it's working.
I'm honestly so excited.
It's so cool. Like we don't get excited about much when it comes to
even our first EP. We were like, this is exciting because it's the first thing we've ever done, but this feels the truest to ourselves. And that's why we took all of our old music down. Like it's cool, it's great. People loved it. I'm so grateful that people loved it, and they're sad that it's gone. But just wait.
I can't wait. We got any rough time frames at all, or a few things up in the air still?
We're waiting on mixing, mastering, and just a couple of final vocals. But hopefully February or March for the first single.
That's very, very exciting.
And I'm just going to hint it out there that we have about 32 recorded songs to choose from. So, and every single person that we have played every single one to goes, I don't really know what I want to pick. Like, I don't know. So
we had to write down 3 the other week, and thank God we had the same answer, because if we didn't, we would have been screwed.
But it's funny because like the sibling telepathy thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's real. And because you guys are so close as well, like you guys are almost like twins in that sense. I'm guessing, I guess. What do I know?
But anyway, but you see it. Like we're talking, we talk for each other. Someone recently said to us, they're like, oh, I've been watching your stuff online and I kind of thought that maybe some of the things were staged. But watching the conversation that we've just had, I'm a little bit freaked out because you guys really do finish each other's sentences and you really do know what's coming.
Pretty much everything you see online of us there's no bullshit. It's all real. What we do is we try to keep it really, really real.
Just checking, we are allowed to say shit on here, right?
Shit, fuck, dick, whatever.
Right. Amazing.
Yeah. We're fine. Exactly. I had something and I got lost. It'll come back to me in a moment. Harmonies. You guys are incredible at harmonies. Now, obviously performing for so many years, did that organically sort of happen, or was that something you guys put hours in early on?
Poor Lozzie. Organically for her. A lot of the times like we kind of just get into this routine of me singing the main and Lauren singing the harmony. Lauren was trained at a school in Melbourne, which was a really hard school to get into for arts, and I think that really helped her be able to have a really great ear. And we both have
I've always had a great ear ever since I was a small kid. Mum and Dad can vividly remember when it was just me, that they would be listening to the radio and I would be singing in perfect pitch, and also telling them when the lyrics that they were singing were wrong.
But yeah,
as a 1-year-old.
Yeah.
So I think for me, it was just something that happened. I don't even distinctly remember learning how to harmonize. Our singing teacher, Deirdre Slater, who I'm sure we'll touch on with the mentor part, she, with her scales, helped us, and she always encouraged us to do our lessons together because she saw something back when we were six to 8 years old. Like, we were so young. She saw something back then where I guess for her, we were probably destined to sing together.
Realistically, looking back, it wasn't necessarily fully natural. There was hard work.
Of course.
Because, you know, we used to busk on the streets of Melbourne and we would be there from like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon until like 11 or 12 at night. That had to have made us stronger. And there would have been times where we were embarrassed.
But when it comes to harmonies and specifics, I don't distinctly remember a time where I went, oh, now I can do this because I've tried so long. It's just something that
hasn't come as natural to me though.
No, we've had a few headaches over Shezza, but
I get wrecked.
There's a story for another time.
Like I said, I'm not as natural at it, but I think, you know, we had a bit of time off where we hadn't played live and things, obviously speaking about the time that when no one likes speaking about, having all of that time off. I think for a lot of singers, getting that sickness didn't help with lung capacity. Lung capacity is a huge thing for singers. I even find now sometimes I know that I can't hold a note as long as I used to be able to. But that being said, fear not. With practice and, you know, doing something repetitively, we're going to get that back.
I think for you too, with Sharon and her harmonies, the videos we've been doing on TikTok have really helped her become more natural at it, which has been awesome.
Yeah, I did a lower harmony the other day in the car and I was like, oh yeah.
Nailed it.
Absolutely. I kind of felt like that scene in the car.
Coming up Millhouse.
Yeah. You know that one where they sing, dun, dun, like, what is it, Sweet Child of Mine?
Oh yeah. One of the greatest movies ever, Step Brothers.
Literally, I was actually reciting it with a friend today. Like, that's how good this freaking movie is. It's so good.
Yeah.
Boats and Hose is a great song too, but we won't go into that.
I'm going to watch that again. I think it's been about 3.5 years. So
oh my God, no, you got to do it.
Do yourself a favor.
I watched it like 100%.
Yeah, and we'll put the product placement for Step Brothers just in the top right there.
Exactly. Yeah, another one of our.
If we ever do a music video on a yacht, you'll all know why.
Oh, yes, 100%. Lung capacity. I guess I'm curious. Do you guys now at this stage of your career? Do you guys have any breathing exercises you still do, or is that all sort of done? The foundational stuff all done now?
Yeah, I'm a very good talker, underwater and everything.
Absolutely. Wow, that's a skill.
But no, most gigs, we will always have warm-up exercises. I think that's actually something that we could make for a video, is some of the things that we learned from our singing teacher when we were younger that have helped our breathe. But that's a thing. You don't even realize. You kind of think, oh, these vocal exercises are specifically just for your pitch and your range. It's not. It's breathing too.
I think too, also something that we've tried to practice over the last couple of years is also meditation. And when you do meditate, you do have to quite briefly. Oh my God, you have to breathe deeply.
I have another stream of where this conversation can go. We recently were in the studio with Tim Henwood, who is the original guitarist of the Rogue Traders. He plays guitar for John Stevens. He's a guru in the Australian industry. And we recorded our vocals for the first time with him in, I don't even know how long for a professional recording. And he just said, girls, the worst thing that you can do for your voice is think. Like we had such an issue recording our vocals because we were so nervous. We were worried, but I didn't realize how in tune our brains are with our vocal cords. We completely shut off. I swear we didn't even sound the same. But there you go. If you overthink it too, it can really stunt it.
And I think for anybody at home who, you know, wants to start singing or has been singing and needs the extra help with warm-ups, one big thing for us when we don't really feel that inspired to do it ourselves is we just jump on YouTube. Yep. It's all there. There's
a really great guy. He was one of the
don't say it unless you know his name, Shez.
No, I'm not going to. He's from The Voice. You literally just type in vocal lesson guy from The Voice. I swear I do that every time.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
He's an American guy, yeah.
Yes.
I'll suss it out. We'll put the link down there. Yeah. Guy from The Voice.
You got to start getting onto those vocal lessons, mate.
100%. Let's take it back. You brought up your singing coach from back in the day. Isn't it funny, like those little moments in life that literally just change the trajectory of everything?
Yeah,
so
correct.
It sounds like she may have been an important, I guess, piece of the puzzle here. So do you want to tell us a little bit about her and maybe give her some roses?
Yeah. Unfortunately, she's quite sick at the moment. She's just been given some really sad news. So our heart does go out to Deirdre and her daughter Robin up in Canberra. We've just found out today that she's very sick. So it's really nice to talk about her. She is, I guess, one of the biggest people that we had from a very young age be our cheerleader.
A little cottage out the back of her house in Geelong, South Geelong. And we just used to go there once a week after school, and sometimes we'd be like, oh, this is a drag.
Supposed to be half an hour lessons, but Deirdre would have us an hour and a half, 2 hours. It wouldn't matter if we were there to sing. She wanted to be there for us. And she has been a fuel in our fire, I guess, especially back at such a young age, when
just a little like a jukebox, right? Like it was just this little radio.
It was an Australian Idol jukebox. I think.
Remember that we bought her a CD player, a brand new CD player, because she only used to have the cassettes. So our family bought her a CD. Oh, honestly, it's so beautiful.
Yeah. So for us, she was such an integral part in our younger years. When she moved, it was a very sad day when she moved up to Canberra. But she's always been in our hearts. And whenever we sing, she never goes without us being grateful to her.
Yeah, I did just get a message from someone actually asking about some tips for music and stuff. And I said, I think the one thing that I would suggest is get yourself a one-on-one teacher, because it's not about necessarily the lessons they're teaching you. It's about the bad habits that they're picking up on. Yeah. So it's the fact that whatever that lesson is, it's molded to you. So of course, if you don't necessarily have the funds to do it, don't even worry about it. You can still go to the top of the world and back and achieve your dreams with
But
YouTube,
I think what people need to understand too, a lot of people may not know, but all the biggest singers, performers in the world all have singing teachers on tour with them all the time. It's something that is a part of, it's one thing they all have in common is they all have a singing teacher.
I mean, how does Taylor Swift do the amount of shows?
3.5 hours. If anyone has Eras tour tickets that they want to sell, please hit us up. We couldn't get tickets.
We're just going to get spammed.
Don't ask us how many hours we sat on the bloody computer for. I'm sure we're like everybody in Melbourne and Sydney and the rest of Australia.
It's okay. We'll just go sit outside.
Yeah. The amount of people that are even from Brisbane, what do they call it? Are they Swifters? Swifties. Right. So the amount of people that are flying down from Brizzy is wild. All right. Well, that's beautiful. Are there any other, I guess, mentors, I guess, or people that have shaped your way up to this point?
Sure. We have quite a few. And obviously we're not going to be able to name everybody, but someone who has been really important to us over the last 12 months, especially, is Tim Henwood. He has helped us in so many ways, but especially with recording. Working with him at Medici last year was just
revitalizing.
Yeah, revitalizing.
I think we were in a place where we were pretty lost, and he reignited something in us that we'll always hold that.
I think for us, there are a lot of people in our lives that I guess we didn't even realize until recently that believe in us sometimes more than we believe in ourselves.
Yeah.
And
that was a guitar.
A guitar. There we go. Awesome.
Is the neck okay?
Yeah.
That's not great, is it? It's
okay.
fine. But it shouldn't have been leaning up against there.
No. Who did that?
I'm not taking the blame. Go. Get off it.
No, so there's a lot of people who have seen more in us than we see in ourselves.
Yeah. I think a few people that I want to mention is actually, I kind of want to delve into this just a tiny little bit. Lauren and I have been playing guitar for a really long time. We are and have been given so much praise for our talent on the guitar, but we both knew that there was room to grow.
We have to start back with Paul Carrick, who taught us from when we were kids. He was amazing.
But we only did that up until what, like 12 years old or something like that. And so we had all that period up until last year when I was 24, Lauren was 25, where we were just like itching, and we knew that we wanted to
keep learning.
Yeah, keep learning. And so it kind of took us a bit to get over that fear, or kind of, what's the word for, we thought we were a little bit not too good. I don't want to sound like a wanker.
I think when you get older, you feel like you maybe have reached your capacity of learning.
Yeah, but I did think that I was good enough not to do it.
Yeah, of course.
But it made us go, we should never stop growing. So we decided to go back to guitar lessons. And it was the best decision we ever made.
Ben Baker bloody helped us. Pretty much saved us.
Just
really,
a local Geelong teacher. We initially were going to go.
teaching our sister at her high school.
We were initially going to go through with Cromie, who's an amazing guitarist from Geelong, and he recommended Ben Baker. And yeah, like I said, best decision we ever made, because there were so many elements of music that we didn't understand. For me personally, I wasn't really very talented in the area of theory, but also just, I'm starting to learn lead. I didn't think I'd ever be able to play lead guitar.
And when our songs come out and you hear a little taste of a guitar solo at the end,
it's given me
that I've done, you can thank Mr. Baker. Yeah. We don't call him Mr. Baker.
No,
he has all his students call him Mr. Baker.
And we definitely say the F word more than his students.
Yeah, he's like, I keep forgetting that I'm teaching. I think we're like his only adults that he teaches. Yeah. So he's like, and then he's like, it's all right. I can swear in this one, can't I?
He still doesn't. Nice. We do all of it for him.
He actually does a little bit with me, but he's like, I can't get into the habit of it because I don't want to pull it out when I'm at the school. Don't want to pull out those words when I get back to the school.
Yeah. I've got a random question I just thought of now. Do you guys have a favorite, what would you say, maybe chord progression?
Not really. If there's one song that we go to, what's our go-to song if we're going to do a cover? Probably Akadaka.
Yeah.
Probably a bit of AC/DC, Long Way to the Top. So I suppose, that A to the G to the D is absolutely got us going wild for many years.
Yep. Okay, perfect. Do you have any other favorite outside of your originals, which the excitement is ridiculous? I guess, have you got any favorite cover songs that you guys personally just hold dear to your heart?
I mean, obviously Wide Awake is now one of our favorites. But really, we really didn't put a lot of thought into that one. It was just like, we love this song, this would be cool. But ones that we were loving performing, like I said, Long Way to the Top, but also we did a cover of Barracuda by Heart, and the fact that they're two sisters and the harmonies and the guitar parts, it was one of the most challenging songs I've ever had to learn. And if you did ask me to play it right now, I would say no. Maybe no. But that's a really cool one. Super, super cool. Makes you feel like that girl.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I want to quickly throw in, because otherwise I'll forget. We have one of our traditions on the show is the previous guest gets to leave a question for the following guest, and of course they have no idea who it's going to be. That's set up. I actually stole this from another podcast, Diary of a CEO, gentleman by the name of Stephen Bartlett. So I heard that, I was like, that's brilliant. So I need to actually come up with something original.
I was so excited, and I really hope that the question that we've asked, I hope that you received it well.
Yes, 100%. It was brilliant.
Okay, great. Amazing.
So that'll be for the next person.
Perfect.
But your question that was left by Hayden, who fronts a digital agency called Corewave Solutions. So he's asked if there was one skill that people should learn in life, what would that skill be?
I suppose when we were thinking about this, we were trying to figure out whether or not it was necessarily related to music, but I think we found one that is the perfect reply. So for us, it would be communication skills. There's a lot in the industry where you'll be stood over, especially being women. We're really lucky. We have a lot more support these days, but there's still some people, probably a bit more in the older generation, that kind of like to see two young girls and go, I'm gonna have my moment here and do whatever I want. So communication skills and being able to respond in a way that is respectful, but also kind of going,
gets your point across.
Yeah, I know who I am. I know what I'm wanting to achieve here, and that is not how we're going to achieve it. So communication would be a great one. I think you said that you had something to add on to it.
Yeah, I think on the communication part, there are so many times, it doesn't matter what industry you're in, where, you know, not everyone has been raised with those skills. And if you can create the standpoint for that, it sets the precedence of where you can go.
Yeah, I think TikTok's been a great thing for me to like scroll through and see the ways that people communicate.
Well, with our communication with when it comes to TikTok in general, we have found a lot of our followers come from the replies we give. You know, we don't want to spam people with responses, but also some people respond back with, oh my God, you responded to us. And of course, anyone who comments on our...
So communication is very broad. It could be literally just making people feel seen. It could be having tough conversations, but remaining to be respectful. Because I think, you know, a lot of people, I don't know if it's necessarily Australian kind of standard that everyone has had a time in their family where maybe their communication style hasn't been fantastic. Growing up in a big family, oh my God, some of the chats that we'll have, you know, can be so volatile, but growing up and learning those things where you're going to be like, this is my expectation of the chat. What are your expectations? And then go from there. But what I was going to say when I was talking about TikTok was I see a lot of the people where they're like, how to respond to like a coworker. And like a gaslighting sentence versus a acknowledging sentence. And those things for me have been like, okay, well, when I say to someone, you know, I didn't make you feel upset, it's like, well, actually, I'm sorry that you have been upset by what I've said. It was not my intention. And just the way that you word things can be so powerful. 100%. So that would be my thing.
And I think too, completely opposite, it can be, I guess, to anybody. For us, I guess a skill that can really help you as well is like read a book, learn how to read a book and learn how to enjoy it. We were not readers growing up. School was a nightmare when it came to English and we had to read a book and write an essay on it. But as we've grown older, I think with where the electronics and social media and the amount of times we spend, whether it be at work or at home, on a screen.
We're consumers all the time.
Television, social media, work, all these things that we do, they are all associated with the blue light. And or to be able to step away from that and to completely escape that world and, you know, read from, you know, a page.
You're going to learn a lot.
You're going to learn so much. For us, it's helped us with our songwriting. And you know, to be able to step into another world of and you know, there's stories like It Ends With Us, or It Starts With Us. I think they're both the same. You know, there's stories of, you know, someone who's been in a domestic abuse, and to be able to read that, we haven't been through that ourselves, but to get an insight of a story where you don't know anything about.
We have actually written songs from books. We've written songs from television shows. They're great sources of inspiration.
Yeah. And just to be able to also step away from a screen has been so good for, you know, even our mental health as well.
Yeah. Brilliant segue, Lauren. Let's. So, what about books? Like, you got any favorite books at the moment?
At the moment, mine's Fourth Wing. Oh my God!
Who's the author?
Rebecca Yarros. Yeah. Amazing.
It got #1 book of last year, didn't it?
Yeah. So I've read Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. Loved them, and now we're probably going to have to wait 12 months for book 3. There's going to be 5 books in the series, which I'm so excited about, and it's going to be a television series.
And we're definitely going to write a song about that one. I'm like so excited.
Yeah, Rebecca, if you're watching this.
Mine would be, I've got to say this, she's made me read this book. She's given me her copy. The writing in it is spectacular. I haven't read a book that is so incredibly detailed. So I'm really enjoying that one. However, I think on the side of growth, I would say one of my favorites is Limitless by Jim Kwik. I have to also just state, while we are performers and musicians and our biggest goal in life is to become, successful artists, we're actually disability workers. And reading that book made a really big impact on our work, and the way that I see a lot of families raising children with disabilities. And I mean, like,
the stigma behind it that's been for a long time.
I'm in awe of the families. They do incredible work, but I see sometimes that some limits are put on these people. So.
And I think
I was going to say children, but they're not always children.
Not always children. To add on to that, I actually can't remember the name of the author of this book, but I last year also read Make Your Bed, which was written by an American soldier, and the importance of discipline. And it starts with making your bed in the morning and it sets your day. So, and that's only about 123 pages or something like that. It's a very small book, but it is so insightful with how just a simple task like making your bed can start your day.
I want to come back to the disability work you guys are doing because that's really intriguing. But Lauren, with the discipline book, 123 odd pages, what were some other insights you got from that book?
Oh gosh, there was so much, and it was about 12 months ago that I read this now.
I read it also.
But I think, the stories of overcoming challenges. He was doing some drills, and the scenarios in which these drills are for, they're very harsh, that if you fail, you suffer because of if you're out in the field and you fail, the consequences can be obviously really extreme. There was one where his team were the worst going into it. They were all put together, and it was a drill going out to the ocean and swimming, and if they were the last team or made poor time, they were, I can't remember, it's like basically a soggy sandwich or something where they're kicked into the sand and they kick the sand up in their faces, and because of the embarrassment of where being the poorest time, they ended up becoming the best team out of the whole year. And then also he was in a really bad parachuting accident, and with the skills that he learnt over his time, I can't remember, I think it's in the Navy, that he was able to come out on the other side a stronger version of himself with all the challenges.
Definitely the mental stamina would be like the huge one.
And the fact with the making the bed, like in that scenario, it's, as people, we need to have a bit of accomplishment and validation every day, I guess. Really, it makes us feel good. So by making your bed first thing in the morning, you get that sense of accomplishment, and it gets you onto the next thing of where you need to feel accomplished.
I'm just quickly going to grab my charger because my laptop's still
it's going to die.
So just be 1 second.
Excellent. Yeah, all good.
Oh my God, I've been left alone.
Oh, here we go. Did they may not have, it sounds like they may have touched on it. Did they go much into ideas around, I guess, building a successful team and whatever that looked like?
Yes, they did. So that was in the process of getting the worst time in this certain drill that they did. But yeah, like I said, it was quite a while ago that I read that. So if you see it on a shelf, I'm pretty sure it's that like came up.
It was one of the first books that I read because I wasn't a very confident reader.
And I think it's so funny how things happen. 12 months ago, we were in a very different stage of our careers, and we were kind of at a bit of a lull of what we wanted to do and where we wanted to go. And you pick a book up like that, and it completely ignites your flame and gets you it makes you see things in a different perspective of, okay, what do I need to do to make myself feel accomplished? And I think that's helped us in where we are now.
Tell us a little bit more about your work in the disability space.
Yeah, so basically 5 years ago, I actually had just finished working at McDonald's, and I was out of a job. And I think you spoke about it a little bit earlier, that one moment that can change the trajectory of your life. And this was my one. So I was out of work. I was working like kind of little jobs here and there. And Lauren at the time was just about to go into a new work. But one of our best friends, Reese, he had suggested that there was a workplace that he was working at that he loved, and they were doing this thing called peer mentoring. And then Lauren
back in COVID
reached out to Lauren and said, I think you would really enjoy this job. I want to tell you about it. I just happened to be at the house that day, sat down hearing about it. I was going to say it was 5 years ago.
Sorry, I thought you were going back into me.
Yeah, of course, me. But
we'll get there.
We will. But yeah, basically, I was sitting in there and I was listening to it and I thought, actually, Reese, this could be the job for me. So I applied and I started doing the work. A lot of the participants, I'm proud to say, I still have retained nearly all of my participants, and it's been nearly 5 years. So I built some amazing, amazing connections. I suppose, we kind of are lucky enough to have the ability to kind of hang out with these participants. So like from diagnosis of like ASD, Down syndrome, ADHD, there's mental health. I think it's getting a lot more broad with the mental health now, NDIS, which is really cool to support people like that as well. So yeah, it's just been one of the coolest things ever. And then Lauren, that's the segue back into Lauren.
Yes, back in COVID, I obviously wanted a change and found myself in that position. And our job pretty much is to help people access the community, learn really valuable life skills. And it's really interesting that we're the ones there to help them. But the amount of things we have learnt from these people is so amazing.
I have to say, like, you did touch on like COVID, and I think everything's aligning in this conversation that we're having, because we're talking about goals, and obviously NDIS is very goal driven. So being able to help people achieve their goals is fantastic. Us ourselves, we a while ago, like I would say probably just before COVID, we're like, our life's going nowhere. That's how it felt. We are going nowhere. We're never going to go anywhere. We need to reset something. So we cleaned off our whiteboard and we wrote down a bunch of things that were our strengths and a bunch of things were our weaknesses. And then we started a line, and that line, the goal was to get the lines all the way across to the other side to then transfer that into our strength, not our weakness. So that was a really cool thing that we did. But yeah, during that period where we had nothing going on, no gigs, everything before COVID was going fantastic. We had gigs all the time. People were starting to get interested in us. We were building our social media, and then boom, nothing. We went online a few times. We started a podcast. It was really cool, but it wasn't fulfilling enough for us. That work, I'm not kidding you, saved our lives. Wow. It makes me so emotional because we got to play some of the music for our participants, and the way that they looked at us and the way that they loved our music, the way that I honestly, I can't.
We have two young girls in particular who are some of the sole reason that we strived through that time, because they, again, at such a young age, I'm talking these girls are in primary school, they are another example of people believing in us more than we believe ourselves.
Yeah, like we'll play them our music now, and some of my friends, I've just recently told them about playing the music for these young girls, and they're like, oh, you haven't even played the music for me. And I'm like, you don't understand how special these kids are to us.
They've heard a song once, and the next time they hear it, lyrics. They're singing the lyrics.
Wow. But yeah, having the ability to go out on walks and things like that when we were allowed to during COVID, being able to help these participants achieve their NDIS goals, it gave us something. It was something to know that it's just so rewarding. And every single time.
And the amount of things we've got to do with these people as well. Like I've been to concerts.
I went to Nickelback.
Yeah. I went to the Veronica.
Paramore.
Paramore. That was so cool.
Yeah. We got movies.
Yeah, all these amazing fun things that we get to do. And we get to share it with such special people who, make us
best
so
job
great.
ever. And like, I honestly, again, going back to the manifestation thing, I couldn't have manifested my life being where I am without me being, because to explain it, I always thought that we were going to be really successful really young, and that's just how I saw it. My alternative universe to that was that and this was obviously not in the recent years, it was more when I was younger, but if I had seen myself not being successful at 25, I would have thought my life was going to be pretty bad. The fact that I have an amazing job, the fact that I can help people, there's just so many elements of this job, the flexibility.
There is something rewarding in it every single time. And again, going back to us as humans, we do need reward, and we do need validation, and we do need support, and all these things that we get in this job, it ticks every box for us. It's incredible.
Yeah. Best job ever.
We absolutely love it, and we adore the people that we get to work with, and we are so proud of the growth that they have shown.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, for me, I'm like Sheridan. I've been in the job for, I think I'm coming up to my 4th year.
Wow.
I've been with a lot of these people the whole time as well. And, you know, from them finishing school and getting jobs, and, you know, we've got one that's about to, you know, go into grade 6.
I know. I had a participant on $5 an hour, and now he's working like, you know, part-time on like $32 an hour, has been told that they're going to make him a manager. Like, honestly, you couldn't even, like, you could write this stuff, but you know what I mean? Like, for us, it
the fact that we get to see it multiple days out
and
of
have been
week.
able to play a part in changing that person's
and the
life.
Support that they give us in what we do here as well. They are our biggest supporters with our music. They
anytime we have a gig, they're like ready to buy a ticket.
Oh,
like,
our young ones with the TikTok viral video, they think it is the coolest.
We're just the coolest people ever, aren't we? That's what they think.
That's so good.
We get the slay.
Yeah, nice.
Please don't make that your promo. I will kill you.
No.
You've done it now. You said it.
I know.
Actually, you know what? That's something that. But I actually, oh man, that the slay thing. I haven't actually used that out loud. That and bougie. I haven't used bougie. Just refused to. But anyway, but yeah, you've nailed it as far as ticking so many boxes. You know, it's clear how much it means to you both. You guys literally just lit up just recounting some of those stories. So, and it's ticking the box of community, you know, helping other people, you know, love to a degree as well. So that's incredible.
And we're from a big family. This has been like I said, you couldn't have put 2 people in a job where we felt more at home than what this job has done for us.
It serves us just as much as it serves the people who are in the program.
Yep. My uncle, actually, let me get this right. He is my mum's uncle. So what is that? Great uncle? Must be.
Yeah.
So my
we just call everyone family.
Well, yeah. So my great uncle, I didn't call him great. I just called him Graham was his name, but he had Down syndrome, and he lived till about, God, he was sort of mid-50s. So which was pretty rare at that time. But I remember, so he died a few years ago, and I happened to be in the UK at the time. I was there for sort of 3 years. And I remember in the UK, someone said to me, just randomly, what do you think the one event is going to be that you're going to miss in Australia that is just going to crush you? And I answered immediately. I said, Graham's going to die. He was going downhill. I said, no, it was destroying me. I had tears in my eyes at the time. But I remember afterwards, I was, I got hit with a big, I guess, reality check, because I was like, oh, look at how much he's impacted me, and in a beautiful way. He was just the embodiment of love. That's all he knew. And I thought, this is hitting me this much. And then I realized, I'm like, wow, my mum, he has been, like, through her entire life, he's been there. And when my nan, who is his brother, her brother, sorry, you know, for the most part of her. And I thought if it hit me just after that amount of time, and it would have hit these guys probably more.
It's not nice to lose anyone. We definitely have been going through a lot recently, and our gran actually had MS, multiple sclerosis, and seeing the way that NDIS has impacted people's lives. She was of the older generation, obviously, and she wasn't eligible. The way that could have impacted her life positively is definitely something that makes us a little sad. Not to say that she didn't get love and support, because she had 12 grandchildren and 2 of them were the best, sitting right here, I'm just saying. But yeah, we took her out for walks, and we, you know, it's that kind of thing where, you know, accessing the community for like people with disabilities is something that can literally change their day.
Just even getting some little things like sunshine.
Exactly.
Yeah. How good are grandparents? My nan, she's up at Bundaberg. Love you, nan. But so I've got two brothers and one sister, and all throughout my childhood, right, she'd pull me aside and she'd be like, Nathan, you're my favorite. You're my favorite. And then it wasn't. I'm saying it was only about bloody 7 years ago, right? Me and my brothers and sisters all sort of having conversation, and it was only then that we realised She was saying that to every single one of us.
It's just that little bit of a boost, though. She gave you that boost that you needed.
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
She knew what she was doing.
She knew it.
Yep. So you guys have been to 1,017 gigs across so many different genres and whatever else. You got any outside of your gigs, which would be top tier, clearly?
Now, I can't wait for you to come to one. I'd love to do one in Brizzy.
Oh, dude, 100%. 100%. And you got to tell me about the hotspots in Melbourne. We'll get to that in a moment.
Yes.
But what are some of your favorite gigs that come to mind?
I mean, more recent ones, we just went and saw G-Flip play in LA. They were phenomenal.
Incredible.
Their support act was incredible. It gave us a really fantastic insight into the community of not gender fluidity, but non-binary, because obviously that's something that the world is navigating at the moment, and something that we want to know more about. We want to support. So to sit there and watch that concert, brought tears to my eyes.
Not to mention to be in a foreign country, especially in LA, and I am not joking you, in that venue, which was probably about 500 people in there. It was like we were at Marvel Stadium.
Yeah.
The screams that G got from that crowd, we got emotional hearing that. As we're two people from Geelong, Victoria, and to hear, the likes of, G-Flip, they were from Melbourne, a small town in Melbourne, and to watch them over there get the response.
Then also we opened our car at the venue and there is G-Flip just like talking to everyone in the line. That was phenomenal.
Very much on par with our vibe.
We went and saw Knox while we were over in LA as well. He was wicked.
For me, a very major point just after COVID was when the Foo Fighters came to Geelong. It was about
I can't believe
a month and a half before Taylor Hawkins passed away. The Foo Fighters have very much played a big role in who we are as rock chicks.
We
have been listening to them. Like I remember, Learn to Fly was one of my favorite first songs. First favorite songs of all time. And
that was the one moment that you felt like you were in a movie.
We lined up all day and we were on the barrier. And, for 2 years, we had no live music. And for one of our favorite bands on the entire planet to pick our hometown.
We've never had a gig there like that.
There has never been a show at that at GMHBA Stadium, and that was the first show they did and the first show they put on.
It poured rain, and everyone was just screaming and jumping up and down.
Catsmere looked at me and pointed at me at the end of Monkey Wrench, and Dave Grohl came over and blew Shaz and I a kiss at the end of the show.
Because we had a sign up trying to sing with them, but
they wouldn't let us sing because of COVID.
I
remember Pat and Nate looking at each other going, like looking at everyone going like, why aren't we doing this? Phillies, we're coming for you. Trust me. We couldn't go to their last show because we just got back from LA. But that for us was just,
main
the feeling of
character moment.
100%. Seeing Paramore just recently, Paramore were another major part of influencing who we are as artists. And to watch Hayley Williams, my freaking
rock
God, she is just there are no words for what she can do. And we also went to night 2 and night 3 and to hear All I Wanted on the last night. First night, on night 2 we were down the front. We were probably about 3 rows back from the barricade. And then we had Up the Top for the final show, and it was their last show of the entire tour. And to hear All I Wanted live, you can have a look. It's on TikTok. You can see my reaction. I ascended to another planet.
She did.
I was so excited.
I was scared to be around her.
I was so excited. Like, I don't think, some people don't realize how like special that is. But if you know, you know. And, we've seen people like AC/DC. Oh my God, we've seen Guns N' Roses.
Wow.
we have been so lucky to
Kylie Minogue,
we've seen Coldplay. Like Sheridan and I had a really good winning streak on radio for a while there. We saw One Direction,
Louis Tomlinson when he was in concert as well, Harry Styles.
Yep.
Look, we're music lovers. We're such big music lovers.
We're going to Pink.
We are
in a month,
and we're going to be front row again.
And also the band Camino, they're finally coming to Australia.
Yeah, if you don't know the band Camino, go and stream their music because they're coming.
They're coming to Melbourne on the 3rd of March.
They're going all around Australia, but they're a really cool band. And if you're going to Melbourne, you'll see.
Honestly, I am very excited. They're brilliant songwriters as well. So if you looking for an international artist to get behind that are just coming up, the band Camino is right there, and that's right on par with what we want to do with our music as well. So if you like them, you're going to like us.
Yeah. I'll check them out because I haven't heard any of their stuff yet. So thanks.
You would have heard them, funnily enough, in a lot of the supermarkets and stuff. I've heard their music so often. I don't know how you get onto those radio stations, but I want to get onto those.
Yeah, if you know, hit us up.
Yep. Perfect. My I haven't gone to as many, let's call them A-list gigs that you guys have. My favorite moment, definitely in gigs, and at worst on a bad day, it's a podium finish in life. I went and saw Jimmy Barnes in Amsterdam with So anyway, I'll get to the punchline. I'm at the front and he's singing K-San. I've actually sort of assertively positioned myself through the crowd to the front.
Pushed your way through.
100%. And I've held my hand up, and he leant down and held my hand as he sung the last line to K-San.
Wow. Yeah, we're thinking of him at the moment. I know he's had a few health issues. We actually played a gig in Melbourne with Mahalia and Mahalia Barnes, and that's his daughter. And she is just a beautiful,
she is a wonderful
lady.
human. Yeah. We adore her, and
she actually, she just did a gig in Geelong recently, and I just put a message on there to be like, good luck, you're in our neck of the woods. And she's like,
she invited us.
So she's so gorgeous, such a beautiful, lovely lady, and obviously the
incredible singer. And she's finally getting her time. Unfortunately, her time is coming at such a hard time for her and her family,
because she's filling in. Well, not filling in. She's taken the stage.
She's
for her dad, and
you know what? Anyone who has tickets to anything that had Jimmy's name on it is going to be the band with Mahalia fronting, please go.
Yeah,
that was
honestly, one of the coolest concerts.
Everyone there who didn't obviously know Mahalia as a front woman said, where the hell has this person come from? Because she shouldn't be singing backup. She should be front and center.
Yeah, no, it was impeccable. And then the gig that we did with her, her husband plays guitar for her, and then her band are just like unreal. And they were supposed to play for like 2 hours. They just kept going, we'll take more requests. And the crowd was just in the palm of their hands. And there's so many Australian artists as well that we've seen. Thankfully, we've been able to attend many Australian festivals. I used to work and help run the backstage of Falls Festival and Wanderer Festival up in New South Wales. So there's been lots of times where we've actually been able to be face to face with.
We got to be in between the stage and the barrier for a Wolf Mother set. And Joker and the Thief was one of the first songs I learnt on bass guitar. So to be that close to them was like,
we were just chilling with Ziggy Alberts in a caravan just recently. So many cool things that have happened.
We've had a very wonderful life so far, and especially we've had a very lucky run with who we've been able to see live and who we've been able to meet as well.
What's got a couple more. I don't want to take up too much of your evening. I know you guys are an hour ahead. 10 to 8 there. Your illustrious career thus far, right? That's pales to the future success that is on your doorstep. But up to this point, what would you have pegged as the biggest win of your career so far?
There's definitely been many, but I have to say this TikTok going viral and what it's done for our socials. As I said a little bit earlier, I touched on the fact that there's a lot less opportunity for people, and like if they don't have a following. The fact that we're building a community of people who are loving and embracing and supporting us.
And present.
Oh, and I have to say it, I honestly was so prepared for hate. I thought we're going to cop it. because, you know, sometimes we're not necessarily fully in tune. You can't be fully in tune all the time. Like, we're not robots, and we don't use auto tune. Like, so it's
someone on a live the other day thought we were faking.
We always just put our like phone up and they're like, this is auto tune, and we're like, dude, we're in a car. And it literally sounds like crap.
It would help us out.
But yeah, like I honestly never expected the community to be as amazing as they are. We get hundreds of comments on our videos, and every single one of them is supportive. And even if we can return just a little bit of that support back to those people, you know, we follow people back if they ask us to. Not everyone, obviously, because that is like unattainable, but you know, there's people that will comment all the time. And just today there was a guy who, from the moment that he followed us, he just commented, and I just followed him today, and he just sent me a message like, oh my God, like, you followed us. And I was like, of course, because you're supporting us and we want to in return, like, you support you. So
your answer's the same as mine. The TikTok going so well. We would love to see that also transition over to Instagram for us, with what we're doing with creating our music. Like Shez said earlier, if a record label sees you, if you're doing well on social media, that's where your relevance comes in. So all of these things are actually helping where we go next.
Probably one last thing that I would say is pivotal was we set up a writing goal. Write 30 songs within a certain period of time, and that will be the next thing for us that I think will have a big impact on our career, because once these songs are released, we've got that to thank. We've got that kind of, you know, we need to grow, we have to set ourselves a goal, and some of those songs that were in that 30 songwriting challenge will be ones that come out. So that's going to be another pivotal moment. Promise.
Can't wait. What's I guess, what are some insights today? Obviously the social media platforms, they change every bloody 3 months, you know what I mean? Like, it's a completely different world. TikTok is obviously the biggest thing that's sort of happening right now for you. I guess, are there any other sort of insights? What else has sort of been working for you guys in real time?
Well, for us, consistency has been a major thing for us. We, especially during this tough time with losing a family member, ordinarily we would really let that get to us.
We'd be the first to like chuck it in,
throw in the towel and be like, we can pick it up at another time. And then, you know, all of a sudden 4 weeks has gone past, because time goes so fast. We always think, oh, where did the time go? And then you kind of go back and be like, oh, well, I could have done it there, or I shouldn't have given up when I, you know, could have kept going.
Yeah. And I recently just spoke to another musician. I said, you know, I'm loving the content that they're putting out. And he turned around to me and he said, Sheridan, it's really, really hard, and I can't keep it up. And I think the thing is just bite-sized pieces. And I said it in another chat that we had the other day. It was like, basically, when you start, it's not going to be great. Like, I dare you to scroll back on our Instagram.
No, don't
do it. Not our Instagram, sorry, not our Instagram, on our TikTok. I was doing it today and I'm like, oh my golly. The difference between the quality of videos, it's not necessarily the quality, it was just how seriously we took them. It feels the most natural right now because we've been making videos for quite a large amount of time.
We're having fun with it too.
We're having fun with it, but also it's time. Be nice to yourself and don't expect you to be up here when you're down here. Someone asked today, you know, what, like, about the music stuff and getting started. And I literally just turned around and said, embrace the fact that you are the shittest you will ever be when you start right now. But that allows you to embrace yourself and stop that negative self-talk. If you're going to be like, oh, I want to play guitar, but I'm so bad. No, just be like, I am shit. This is so great.
Can't wait till I get really good, because that's literally if you keep practicing, that's how it's going to be. And to touch on that as well, no opportunity will ever come to you that isn't meant to be yours. So, you know, there are so many things where even throughout our careers where we've been like, you know, that should have been us, you know, and it's not in a jealous sense. It's that we know we can do it and we know we can do an amazing job, but it wasn't our time. Divine timing is really astronomical. And I think for us, we've spent the last, especially 5 years, working on who we are as people and who we are as artists, and getting a real strong point on where we want to go and who we are. And now things are starting to click. Tell me why.
And also
happening.
In the moment where we kind of threw in the towel and we're like, we don't really care what comes of this. We just want to build a community, whether that's that's 100 people. Turns out now that moment that we went, we don't mind how this turns out. That's the moment that things are starting to change for us. And I feel like that's always the way. It's that like attracting, it's almost like reeking of desperation. And I think we probably did that for a little while, where we were like, we want this so bad that we never really saw any potential leeways.
It also takes the fun out of it. What we're doing in the car, obviously some days are really hard. Like we had to film on a 37-degree day the other week, and that was really tough for us because obviously the car videos are going so well. We just sit in a hot car. So if you've seen us sweat, we're struggling.
We are.
So
we're sweating.
Give us a like, please, or a follow.
Because save the video.
It's not easy.
Save the video to save us.
There you go.
One save video is one save life.
Yeah.
No, but like it, and I think people are seeing the fun that we're having.
Here's
with
me talking about desperation, and I'm like,
please.
No, but yeah, like Lauren said, as soon as we kind of stopped being as desperate about it,
get rid of the stigma,
just enjoyed it, that's when the stuff started to come. And like I said, the video that went well and the video that went well before that was, we didn't even care about it. We put it up and we were like, fun. This was fun. We had a blast. If it goes well, it goes well. And it went well. And here we are talking to you on a podcast after you saw our TikTok. Like, dude, this is wild.
The world is weird.
Isn't it wild? I had three things in my head at once. I do that. So,
so do I.
There we go. Here comes a loaded question for you. Do you think it's a coincidence that you guys have been working on yourselves for the last 5 years? Rough time figures, and then you guys are very strong in yourselves as individuals. That's coming through very strongly. I use strong 3 times in one sentence, but that's fine. Do you think there was a coincidence? You guys have been working yourselves up to this point, and then everything just explodes?
Thank you for the compliment.
Yeah,
strong individuals. Thank you very much.
Hell no. Everything works in its own way, and it works for a reason. There are reasons why you go through certain moments in your life. Sometimes I think there's always, before something really good happens, something really bad happens beforehand, and that allows, I guess, room for the great things to feel really good. So for us to go through 5 years of working on our songwriting, working on our mental health, working on how we work as a team to get to where we are now. You can't say that stuff just happens.
And I have to add to that by saying there actually was a time where I actually genuinely do believe if it had worked out the way it was supposed to, we actually probably would have been really successful. We were busking in Melbourne, and Kanye West was out for the big day out, and he had a couple of people going out for dinner that night, and they actually discovered us busking on the streets of Melbourne,
singing Halo, which we just
uploaded it, and there was so many people that we met through that had a name, people like eyes from record companies that were on us, and opportunities that flowed to us that were just like, whoa. So I won't go into too much detail, but basically we met with the head of Atlantic Records, and he was incredibly interested. At this stage we were about 14 and 15 years old, if I'm correct, and he was like, yep, like, this is something that I am very interested in. All I want is, like, say 5 to 10 of your best songs. The team that we had at that point, we didn't get together 5 to 10 songs. We never sent anything. But for us back then, it was like the CEO of Atlantic Records just said, we're great. Let's rest. Worst mistake of our career, but best decision we ever made at the same token.
For
everything. I think for our relationship back then, it could have jeopardized our relationship at points because we just weren't as strong as what we are now. So sometimes, like Lauren said, divine timing.
Yeah, I think it all happens for a reason. We've spent the last, especially 12 months, learning how to work really well together and understanding how one another works. We're siblings. We're always going to know how, when one's feeling, a bit worse for wear. But we've spent the last 12 months trying to work through that and around it and get through the other side. And I think, that's going to help us in the next stage of where we're heading. And everything we've done has led up to what we're doing now, and I think that's pretty special.
There's a quote which I'm going to comfortably butcher, but it says something to the effect of, "I hope you don't reach what you think you want," or something like that. What a waste it would be.
Yeah,
and that
can be very
ties
damaging.
in. Yeah, well, not just that. It's like well, at least I'll speak for me. What do I know? I think I want this goal, and what do I know? The universe will know.
But also,
more.
like, imagine like if when you do reach that, and I hope that people do reach their goals. Obviously, that's not necessarily the full statement of the quote, but when you're at the top, the only place that you can go is back down, and
especially when you reach the top easily.
Yeah.
One thing we've always been told is the quicker you rise, the even quicker you will fall.
And that's why people will always ask us about, The Voice or, Australian Idol and all these things. And while we respect the intention of those shows and also can acknowledge that some people's careers would be non-existent without them, you do see a lot of people doing the same tours in the same areas.
A lot of people who don't get to own their songs. Like for us as songwriters, really that's a really big thing for us. A lot of people, we're back to Taylor Swift, her having to re-record her songs to own them, even though she wrote them. This is the world we're living in.
I think for more from that side, from what my understanding is that they'll have songwriters that they're trying to push. So then if you're not up to the standard of that songwriter, or maybe there's an underlying reason that they want that person to be pushed, you might be a songwriter, but you don't even get.
We've had a friend who's a songwriter and had no choice but to release a song that they to this day
still
hate. They actually hate it.
Yeah.
And they won't even speak the name out loud. And this is someone who
we did an interview.
I
was going to say we did an interview with them for our podcast. I'm not sure if they're still up.
No,
but
not.
It was unbelievable hearing about like the fact that they'd walk into a room
and be told what they're doing.
But it would be, they'd be earning in the tens of thousands or if not hundreds of $1,000s and walking out with maybe $250 in their pocket. So
wow.
Pretty wild.
So that's where we go. Yeah, I think we're gonna, not. And I think too,
say never.
What people don't understand as well, and I hope for anyone watching, who don't know, those shows are amazing. But what people are doing online by following us and commenting and liking, and then when we release music streaming, they're helping us skip that step.
Yeah.
And they're helping us get
basically instead of a show being responsible for someone's career, you are responsible for our career.
And I think, that's how we would love to have that happen, to have our thanks come to the people who listen to our music, to who stream our music, to who comment. So every comment you give and every follow you give, whether, if you follow all your favorite acts on each platform and make sure you engage with them at least once a week, you're helping them get to the next stage.
Basically what you learned from today was all you have to do is follow @Lash78 music and just comment and share.
And not to mention, you can also learn that you're the people who are really important with the chairs that need to be turned.
We can sit here talking and blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, without you guys, none of this matters.
You guys are the judges.
Please don't judge us too much.
How often are you guys going live on TikTok at the moment?
Well, it really varies. We'd like to get a little bit more consistent.
We're trying to go about 2 to 3 times a week with everything that we've been dealing with at the moment.
I think we're hoping to go maybe live tomorrow. If not, it would be sometime over the weekend.
Yeah. I love the idea of live because that's where your depths can sort of come in. And like long form podcasts like this, like people get to know you guys and I think you touched on it earlier, everything that you're putting up on TikTok, it's just real and you're actually showing your true selves. And I think that's why your audience is growing at the rate that it is, because you guys are so many embarrassing things
that Lauren's like, I hate that you posted that. Like in the viral video, Lauren goes, "Oh no," and that's like a Australian thing. I didn't even necessarily mean to put that in there. It was just that
I never say it too. But this one time that I really put it on.
We had people walking behind our car, and I was like, "Oh my god!" People were just like standing there, and she's like, "Oh no!" And we'd always been like, "We're not that Australian. We don't say 'oh no.'" Like She did.
I did.
And then the other day in the video, you know, like we posted Clarity cover. I think it was just this morning.
Dancing.
And I'm like, Lauren's like, yeah, okay, if you're gonna do that, we're probably gonna have to cut it out. And I was like,
that's at the end of the video.
And I just added it in there because like I'm weird. That's fine. I'm happy with that. I'm cool. I'm content. Get to know me, because if you're gonna meet me in person, I'm also gonna be like really like, you know, bouncing off the walls, and I've got 30,000 ideas in my head, but that's me, and I hope you like it. And if you don't like it, then Lauren might be a better friend.
We're a broad spectrum there, aren't we?
Yeah, you're a bit more level-headed. I'm a bit more like pew pew pew.
But like people love watching like the outtakes of movies and you know TV shows and whatever else. So there's definitely something there. All right, last sort of question for you guys. What is, if anything, you guys are obviously smashing it, but what's one thing you wish you knew before starting your career that you know now?
I really love this question. And it's something that definitely Lauren and I were like, yeah, we feel the same about this. Basically, I did touch on it a little bit earlier, where we did rest on our laurels when an opportunity came up. I'm trying to find the correct wording and the intensity of how important this is. No one will ever push for your project your success more than you will. Once an opportunity or an achievement has been like stepped upon
to you,
work 10 times
the
harder.
Worst thing you can do is sit on your hands and be like, I'm done, great.
That's
awesome.
That's when the real work begins.
Yeah.
Because if we had you know, I don't even really care about the what ifs anymore, whatever. If we were to have been really successful, whatever. But we honestly thought, this is it, we're going to be famous.
Yeah.
And we lost that.
Even with this, you know, this recent blow up on TikTok, we could have hit 3 million views and gone, well, that's it. We only need to post once a week now because we've got 3 million views and it looks really great. Well, that's not what we need to do.
And
what
I think
we need
right
to do is
now,
stay consistent.
I was going to say, people want more from us than ever. You know, there's people on there that are asking for this song and that song, and people saying, when's your music coming out? Blah, 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 blah. There is this traction right now that if we let burn out, it might not come back. Yeah. So yeah, that would be the advice.
The worst thing you can do is when an opportunity presents itself, you don't rest on it. You work harder than you've ever worked before.
And that being said, if you are alone in that and you can't keep up with that, there are people out there who would be so keen to help. You just need to put out the vibes.
Yeah, that's brilliant. The momentum is just everything. Momentum. How did you phrase it, Lauren? Divine timing.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that phrase before. I love that. That's brilliant.
You haven't seen any tarot readings on TikTok then. You get the tarot readings and you'll hear divine timing all the time.
Well, let's finish up on that. What's your take on tarot then? How deep into the tarot game are you?
I wouldn't say deep into the tarot game. We're very like in tune with like I don't know, like spirituality, not necessarily to the point where, you know, like I'm saging my house every day. I like to think
I'm a little bit of a, like, you know, Stevie Nicks witch kind of vibe. I there's been times where I have predicted things and it's, you know, so
some
weird.
People believe in God, some people believe in like
we believe in quite a few things.
Yeah, we believe in quite a few things, and I think that that's the best thing. Find something to believe in because it keeps you going. I said it earlier on, and you know, like having little crystals around our studio, they're really freaking pretty. They're gorgeous. And if they, by a slim chance, give us some of that energy that they say that they might, I'm going to ride on that. I'm cool. I'm going to drink my crystal creative tea before I really want to write a cool song just because I want to. Yeah. That's cool. If you don't like it, that's fine.
Yeah. Find something else to believe in.
But we've had a few medium readings, psychic readings. And to be completely honest, we had one before we went over to the US.
It was like literally the start of last year. So almost 12 months ago.
She predicted the timing. She predicted what was going to happen and a few other things personally. So I don't know. This is one of those things.
How do you meet someone for the first time and they literally tell you what's going to happen in the future, and then all of that happens?
Test the waters. If it works for you, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Does she do bloody virtual readings?
Yeah, she does. I'll actually get up her name because she was a wicked lady. She just reached out to me and said that whenever we want another one done, we have to let her know.
We told her too, because she actually predicted the month that we went to
She's
the
like,
US.
get your passports ready for such and such.
September, end of September. And that's when we left.
Yeah. So
and back then we had no
100%.
idea. We had no idea back then.
Her handle is Geordie JORDIE_Janes_medium. And we just found her at like a little market, and we just walked up to her and we're like, yep, this is gonna be cool.
She had one slot left for the day, and it
was so cool. But we've actually had a really good experience with everyone that we've been to. Maybe just one like that I wasn't super keen on, but then at the same time I got told that my spirit guide was this random name, and it turned out, and it was like a really old name, and it turns out that it's actually my my great grandmother. And I was like, this name is bullshit. Anyway, turns out I was just being mad offensive to my great grandmother,
who was a
musician.
Yeah.
Wow. So they said, this is your spirit guide, and they said the name. I'd only ever known her as grandma.
Yes, of course. That's
so
good.
Yeah.
I don't see that whole space. There's definitely something there, right?
Yeah, I mean, for sure.
I don't believe in coincidences. I just don't think they exist. Like I think people it's just less scary for some people to just chalk it up as a coincidence. I don't.
Now you have a word. What's that word for it? What's the word?
Is it
divine timing?
Divine timing.
There's also to touch on that, there are no coincidences. There's if you haven't heard of it before, the burnt toast method is so cool. Look into that if you don't know what it is.
Basically, the theory suggests that the time that it takes you to remake that piece of burnt toast, something happens.
It can either give you an opportunity or it can save your life. Something. Like, I'm sure you guys all saw on the news a couple of weeks ago, the plane where the door came off. The person who was meant to sit on that seat missed their flight.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
They were meant to be on that flight and they missed it, and that was their seat, and they actually would have died. Yeah. They would have been ripped straight out. So that thing that distracted you, or maybe that set of lights that you really wanted to get through, you just never know what that's going to align you with. Sometimes it might be nothing. Or sometimes there's a lot of times where it could be nothing, but for even our gran and pop, they met on a chance that her uncle used to sneak her to the dance so she could sing. What about the time that we were busking and all those people from Kanye West group went? We literally were going home. We said to Dad, we're like, we're sick of it. Yep. We're done. And then a flood of people came through. So we stayed and we played another 3 songs, and then we got taken to the big day out. The next day. Had many, many amazing opportunities from that. So we have friends to stay with in America. Like, who knows? So look into that because it's incredible. Yeah.
What's really interesting, we could talk about this part for another 3 hours, right? But I think a lot of it may be, right, my humble guess is more just the power of the mind. So whether it's crystals, whether it's whatever else, like something like the what do you bloody call it, where someone has like a sugar pill and something else and they're told
placebo,
themselves. Thank you. So the placebo effect, like that's wild. That's like 33% or something. The fact that they're not pouring billions of dollars into that and trying to harness that. But I think, I've been taking
magnesium recently, and the magnesium, I'm like, this is like a God's pill.
With the amount of technology we have in this day and age, we seem to forget that our biggest and most powerful tool is our mind.
Yeah. Do you know what? That book that I suggested earlier, the Limitless book, he speaks about the brain, and it is unbelievable. He has an app as well. I think it's called Quick something, and it's actually a massive app. I'd heard of it before I read the book. Just buy that book. I think it's like $15 on Amazon. It's so cool. And he basically incurred a brain injury at a really young age and told himself that he was stupid his whole life. And then it just go read it. Mindset. Unbelievable.
Have you guys heard of a guy called Joe Dispenza?
No, I don't think so.
Have a look into his stuff. He's big on manifesting and quantum fields, that sort of stuff. Anyway, is there anything that we haven't touched on that you guys want to make sure that we highlight?
You know what? Firstly, we want to say thank you so much for getting us on the show. Like, I don't think I've ever had an interview where I felt as comfortable as revealing some of my deepest, darkest secrets. I pulled myself up a couple of times where I'm like, girl, you're getting too personal. But yeah, just thank you so much. And obviously the exciting things that are coming up for us in the next 12 months is releasing new music, is being active on our social medias, is listening and taking requests from our community. And
gaining
we really
our
hope
following
that from this podcast that you want to get involved in our community. And it's not just, you're not just a number to us. Like, you're genuinely, like I said earlier, like, we call everyone family, and you're our virtual family. And we really hope that you're
that you want to join in.
That you want to join in without sounding like a cult, because that's kind of scary.
Cult can be great. It'll be a loving. No, thank you very much. It's thank you for being so vulnerable and showing your true selves tonight as well. Ladies and gentlemen, do yourselves a favor. Go and check him out on every platform except for X and Threads. I think the only two that you're not on. At Lash78. Lauren and Sheridan, thank you very much. Wish you all the successes in the world. And when your stuff comes out, let me know, and we'll put it out as well.
You and I and Lauren, we're going for a drink. We have to go for a drink. Catching up when we come to Brazil, or you come to Melbourne.
Lemon squash for me.
Yeah.
Lemon squash, that'll do. Lemon squash, lemon lime bitters all around, something. But have a great night. Thank you very much, and all the future success, and we'll catch up soon.
Thank you for having us.